Alright, what's up guys? My name is Jay. I just want to dive right into this because I've already took it apart just to figure out how everything works. And so yeah, I just kind of wanted to do a quick little mod guide for the Spectre. I hate this gun. I'm gonna just go out there and say it right now. I hate this blaster with a passion. Just to give you a quick recap, or not recap, but a quick little kind of... This kind of fell out by itself. This is like a lock that if the barrel is not in place, you cannot fire the blaster. So I'm going to see if I can slide that part back in. Alright, give me 1 second. And basically, it sits right there, and it moves this little thing up. So when it's depressed, it pushes this block up, which allows the trigger to do its thing. When it is forward, that block is down and you cannot pull the trigger. So this kind of gums up the system a little bit, so I'd say take it out, discard it. It's a piece of crap. The next thing that you really want to do is just take out the little block there, because that now is useless as well. Going into the barrel assembly real quick, the easiest thing to do, and that you can do without much trouble now, is if you have a pair of like wire cutters like this, just go in and just snip off the backs of the dart pegs. I can't do words today, guys. Anyway, so just go through and just clip them all off. They're pretty much useless, and the only thing they really do is make it so that you can't use other kinds of darts, and that's kind of annoying. Even though elites perform the best out of all the Nerf darts, I think, in my opinion, I don't know if that's fact, or I don't really have evidence to back it up. Just in my experience, elite darts work the best. But there are a lot of people that like to use other kinds of darts as well. So this just allows you to be a little bit more versatile. So here we go with the last one, and that's pretty much all you really need to do with the barrel assembly. I kind of want to figure out how to take this. There's like a button in here. You can see that, a little orange piece right in there, and that seems to gum up the system, in my opinion. The other thing that is really ticking me off is it's very difficult to see. I'm going to refocus my camera for a second. Alright, so in here, here's the rotation mechanism, and it's important. You need it. But inside here is like the part that actually rotates it is this white part right here, which is connected to a little like orange button. And I'm actually going to just unscrew this because it'll be easier to see that this way. And it's nice that it's easier to access than on things like the Maverick. You have to unscrew a ton of things. And this is what it is. It's like this button right here. See that little orange button? And that button can be depressed. And basically, it doesn't always catch on its thing and on the things here, and it kind of gums up the system. And I'm very disappointed in that. And I'm not entirely sure how to fix it, other than just, I don't know, maybe somehow fixing the button in place. I'm going to refocus real quick. But yeah, so I'm actually going to play around with that a little bit off camera. I'm going to see if I can take out this button, and if I can, I'll let you know how to do that. I believe you can just pull this off, maybe. Might have to muscle it off camera, but anyways, yeah, I'm gonna play around with the barrel assembly a little bit, and really the last thing that you can really do is maybe add a little bit of Teflon tape under the O-ring here. It's got an okay seal. There's no air release hole that I could find. Take off that spring for a sec. That spring is important. You need that spring. So the other thing that you can do is, if you can see in here, there are 4 pegs. Let me zoom in. 4 pegs that hold the impact plate that also hold the air restrictor. And the easiest way to really get at that is to just take a flathead screwdriver and maybe like a hammer and just gently tap those pieces out. And you're left with a lot of dead space, but I mean, there's dead space in there already to begin with. Sorry, I zoomed out too far. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. Just be careful you don't puncture the plunger tube or anything. There you have it, ladies and gents. This is the impact plate right here, what's left of it. This is the AR itself, and this is the AR spring right here. And as you can see, I have left the little front grille intact, and inside it is completely see-through. Now the only problem, and I'll show you this by putting the plunger back in, is the plunger stops right here, and there's about maybe 3/4 of an inch left that's just dead space, and it really stinks. And I'm not entirely certain how to address that because I don't really have the means of taking this top part off. It's solvent welded on there, and I do not have the means or the desire to really take this apart and try and reconnect it. But, you know, what are you going to do? So, I will leave that as is. I will retape. I will put some Teflon tape under the O-ring, not that much because I don't think it needs it. Now onto this, and I'm really not sure how to address this. I'm going to think about this some more off camera, try and figure it out. But Nerf, what were you guys thinking when you made this? Because it sucks. This really, like, you could have done a much better rotating mechanism than this. I mean, you had a good idea with, making it all one piece and that kind of stuff. So I give you props for that, you know, making it easier to just lift out of the blaster. But, this sucks. It just really, trying to prime this blaster is so difficult, and it just doesn't rotate. So next I'm gonna take apart the barrel and just show you how it's set up on the inside. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. 5 screws in the back. So yeah. Okay guys, so if you want to get anywhere with prying this off, you're gonna need to use some pliers or something. I have my Leatherman here, and you just really press into it. And it's making weird sounds, and I'm not really a big fan of that. Oh, lost it. Alright, so there is the spring in here like in the Maverick, so I'm going to see if I can pull this entire thing out. My spring flew away somewhere, so I'll have to find it. But just to open this up real quick now, this is what the inside looks like, and it's simple. It's pretty much like the Maverick, except that it doesn't have the AR caps in it. And it doesn't really look like you can remove the orange button thing in here, which is a bummer, which I was hoping you'd be able to do something with that, but I guess not. Really bums me out, because I think it really affects the performance. Just the rotation is really all sorts of screwed up because of this little bugger. I just find it completely unnecessary. So I might just Dremel it out, and if it doesn't work anymore after that, then hey, whatever. It's in the name of science. Science. Okay guys, so now I have Dremeled out the orange nub in here, right? You can see what's left of it. And now what you really want to do is clean up what's left of the dart pegs with like a Dremel or something. really get rid of as much of the plastic as you can in here that's just sticking out, because it catches, there's a lot of inside edges on this, and we want to make it rotate as easily and as seamlessly as possible. So I'm just going to clean that all up off camera and get back to you. Okay guys, so I have everything back on. I used a hammer to kind of lightly tap everything back in. It's rotating much freer now. I kind of cleaned up everything a little bit, got all the pieces out of the way, so now it's just rotating very smoothly, and that kind of bodes a little bit better for the rotation mech, I hope. I don't know. They really went button happy with this blaster, and I don't know why. Like, I have never, like, this is so stupid. This is really stupid. For a rotating mechanism, I just think it's ridiculous. So putting everything back together is fairly simple. What's nice about this one is it just kind of pops in, and you have to line up this part with that part, so remember that. Other than that, everything just kind of slides back into place. I'm going to go ahead and put the rotation mech back together. There's really nothing that I can think of that you can do. So I'd say, if I were you, don't take the rotation mech out, because there's really no fixing it, which is a bummer. But, you know, oops, sometimes that's life. So yeah. Alright guys, so if I have one piece of advice to give you, it would be to not remove this. It is a pain to try and get back on, and I'm really bummed about this rotating mechanism. It is just disgusting. Like, it doesn't even want to rotate, and it really, Nerf, what were you thinking when you decided to do this? Because it was just a huge mistake. I mean, I strongly dislike it. I'm not sure. We will find out how much removing the little button in there has changed things up, but I am going to play around with the air seal now for a little while, because it is less than perfect, and I want to give it a little bit of a fighting chance of not being so completely terrible. So I'm just going to put like 2 layers of Teflon tape under the O-ring, re-grease it, and then put it all back together. So yeah, all in all, I'm very disappointed with the Elite Spectre. I think it is a waste of money. Do not get this blaster. It is the worst in the Elite line. I think it's the only one that's really bad. I can't really think of any other blaster in the Elite line that's just awful. I kind of dislike the Hailfire because it's so bulky, but at least that's usable. Like, this is too big for only 5 shots, and it's just not even functional stock. So if it's not even functional stock, if it's firing darts like 5 feet stock, you know, I don't know. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But hopefully this will make it a little bit better. I don't know what there is to do with the spring. I'm probably just going to leave it. I honestly don't care that much about improving this blaster all that much. I just want to see if it performs any better with all the junk removed. So I have everything that's necessary back in here. Do not forget this spring. It is important. The plunger rod shoots forward. It makes a seal, sort of, with the barrel. Not so much with this gun because it just sucks. But can you tell I dislike the Spectre? I don't know how well it was working when it was a regular just end strike blaster, but I know for certain that it is pretty awful as an Elite blaster. And yeah, nothing yet has convinced me otherwise. However, we have yet to actually test fire this one, so we shall see for certain in a few minutes. I'm just gonna put everything back in now. I'm honestly not sure what to expect with the little button removed, but I do like how the plunger rod and trigger catch, are set up. I think that's an interesting and actually kind of a neat design. So Nerf got a lot of things wrong with this blaster, but at least they got the trigger catch right. I think it's cool. It's a neat design, and I give them credit for trying that. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it back together, give it a quick firing test, and call it a night for this blaster. Alright guys, so it's all done, and I have to say, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say. I mean, it's just kind of meh, you know? It's just, the one thing I do like, I really love the button, the barrel release button, the barrel drop button. And I'm going to load 5 darts of varying density, and they're kind of poking out the back a little bit now, so I wonder, it's a little bit too, you know what I might end up doing? I might end up dremeling out the oh, that's a bad dart. You know what, never mind. The rubber head's a little bit too wide. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. That's how you ruin darts. But they kind of poke out from the back a little bit, so be careful how much you chop off. The prime is actually pretty nice now. It's actually not as gummed up, so I'm gonna go ahead and just fire it off. That's one, and it didn't advance. I'm just gonna dry fire it. Honestly, I don't even, at this point, it does not even matter to me that much. Now it's just not. Oh, there we go. It advanced that time. I guess you just have to be pretty forceful with the prime. What's nice though is that now you can fire it with the barrel dropped, and yeah, you just kind of have to be forceful with the prime. I don't like this blaster at all. This has not really changed my opinion of it that much. There's a little bit increase of power. Before it was just not even shooting at all. Now it's kind of shooting, and I don't know, it's just not, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of this blaster. I think Nerf, like, it's so bulky, and for 5 shots, I don't like how it's proportioned. I don't like the shape of it. I don't like the design. I hate the trigger. The trigger just feels incredibly flimsy, and I don't know. People like the barrel off of this, but the barrel does nothing. It's too short to change the accuracy at all, and it's way too wide, and no, it's just not useful. Anyways, that's how you mod this. Don't get this. Don't, please. Don't take out the rotation mech, because it's just confusing to try and put back together. Don't dry fire or dry fire. I don't really care that much with this gun. The seal is pretty bad. I think they didn't really glue the entire front part down or something, so air's leaking out somewhere, so you couldn't really do a perfect seal unless you re-glue everything, which I didn't really want to do, and I don't have the glue or anything. But yeah, so that's the Elite Spectre, and it sucks, so don't get it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember, mod at your own risk. Modding can potentially damage the internals of the gun and shorten the lifespan of the blaster, so do so at your own risk, and keep that in mind. Do your research, do your homework, and don't blame me for you breaking your own blaster. If you like what you see, guys, please subscribe so I can continue to make videos. Hopefully I'll have something that makes me feel a little bit better next time. There is some stuff in the works. There's something coming out from Orange Mod Works. 2 things. Or like 3 things, I don't know, a bunch of things are coming out and coming to me from Orange Mod Works, and I'm very excited to get my hands on them, and I'm hoping that I will be receiving them soon. So stay tuned, guys.